And he is the speaker for Toastmasters. I'm going to let him come up and introduce himself and tell us a little bit more about us. Everybody, let's welcome Daryl.
Guess y'all confused, like which one is it? Certainly, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
This is customer service. We're talking about how to make things better, right?
Right.
So here you have a customer, you have someone that walked into your presence, you just gave them a mediocre good afternoon. First lesson right there. Y'all got that? Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
All right, man, I am glad to be here now. Fantastic. We are excited about being here. Thank you so much, Ms. Voskamp. All right, good to see you. Thank you for allowing me to come in and be a part of this tremendous opportunity here today, speaking with a group of fantastic leaders. It is my privilege and pleasure to be a part here. I'm a leader, certainly myself. I have a wife and 4 children, so leading them, I have an awesome opportunity in front of me to make sure that I do the things that the Lord has called me to do. I'm a pastor of a church. I lead people in our community. I'm just a good guy. I know Mr. Voskamp was cussing and everything like that, but I'm okay. I'm praying for you guys.
Hey, will you pray for him?
I have been.
It ain't working.
Well, like the little old lady used to tell me, she said, "Boy, I'm gonna have to burn up both knees on you." But it's good being here, and as Miss D. Lawrence, certainly it's been a privilege working with you over the last couple of months, and we've been talking back and forth, and so it's good to finally meet you face to face. I have a couple of people that I went to school with us out here. I'm excited about that. Good seeing y'all, and they're much older than I am. But they look pretty good for their age, and y'all didn't even know that. But I'm just really excited about being here. I had the privilege of working with Wendy's back in the early 90s. Gerald Jones certainly was a great inspiration to me. I worked under him, and most of you, a lot of you may know, remember Gerald. He's going on to be with the Lord now. And then, but then there was this other guy named Kurt Halcor. I worked with Kurt, and I'm telling you, it was certainly a mind-altering experience. Kurt's just an awesome guy. I learned a whole lot under him, and a lot of things that I learned under him, even though that's been going over 20 years ago, about 20 years ago now. I still use those things even in my life today. So he made a wonderful impression upon my life, and so that right there lets us know that the things that we do and say and how we perform in a person's life carries on for years to come. When I was, I guess it was in November the 12th, I believe it was, maybe November the 13th, 1981. I had just gotten married on November the 9th, and I'd been off for a few days, came back to work, and my first day back at work, I had to open the store. And so that was awesome, fantastic with that, going in, I'm good, I'm excited about that. Got ready to get off work that evening, and Billy, the relieving manager, his wife came in, threw the keys up on the counter and said, "Billy quit." Wait a minute, I'm getting ready to go home. What's this all about? I called Kurt and I told Kurt, I said, "Hey, Billy just quit. His wife came in and quit for him." And Kurt came in and said, "This is what we're going to do." He said, "I'll go ahead and I'll close the store, but I'm going to need you to come back and do the paperwork and finish up tonight. If you do that, come back at 10. I said, "Okay, I can do that." That's back in the days when we closed at 11. So I can do that. And everyone was going, yeah, that was back in the day. Got everyone off, everyone closed up and went home, and I said, "I'm just going to stay here and do some paperwork," and so I'm okay, I'm going to get ahead of the game. Got ready to leave out of the store. I'm tired. I really am. I'm tired because, see, I was newlywed, Not doing that. When I came home that evening, springtime, with my wife, someone want to take a nap. I've been gone all day. Came home and just gonna chill just for a little bit. Then I'm have to go back to work. Didn't even take a nap. But I'm going in and do work, and I'm gonna be back home. And before you know it, I decided to do some paperwork. Okay, great. But while I'm getting ready to leave out of the store, I'm tired at this point. And do you all remember the newspaper stand and the phone booth? A lot of y'all too young remember those called phone booths, And there was a guy that was crouched down between the two of them outside the door. And when I stepped outside the door, I saw him, and he stepped out, and he had a pistol in his hand. In my mind, I'm tired. I'm like, oh, man, what are you doing? But my mouth said, and he said, shut up and get back in the store. Well, I went back into the store, and the newspaper read that it was an attempted robbery because he didn't get anything. And the thing for me, and I wasn't even preaching at that time, but I was a praying man, and I couldn't get, how you change the combination and lock something someone quits? Mm-hmm. I could not get that safe open. And this guy, he cocked the pistol and put it right up to my head and says, if you don't open this safe this time, I'm going to blow one of just words out of your head. I'm gonna blow your brains out. And because he did that, he said that, certainly I was in fear. And I prayed out loud. And I said, Father, in the name of Jesus, help me. And the guy says, oh, you're a Christian. I am so sorry. Just turn against the wall and don't turn around until I leave. Well, that worked for me, and I heard that it works for some other folk as well. But that right there certainly was an experience that I will never forget, and it made an impression upon my life. And so when I say that to say this, that when people come into your store, are they coming in and having an event or an experience? Is it an event? When they come in, it's just something to do. I'm coming in. But when they leave out of there, did they experience something that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives? Again, that's been 20 years ago. I can remember that cold barrel up against my head, just like I'm touching my finger here now. Certainly that was a negative experience. But what about a positive experience? What are your customers receiving? When people come in your drive-thru, when they drive into your parking lot, when they walk into your store, are they coming in expecting an event? Are they expecting an experience? Most of the time it's just an event. I'm going in, get something to eat, and then I'm going to leave. Well, what are you giving? What are the customer service? The first point of contact, when they walk in that door, what are they giving them when they get there? People, they don't get excited about what they expect. They get excited when you give them more of something that they didn't even realize that they were going to get. So that's what we want to look at and talk about and think about these things. The impression that we're even putting up on our customer service representatives. That when people come in, that they leave with an experience and not just encounter an event. Powerful experiences. They stay with us forever. They dictate how we live, what we wear, what we eat, what we drink, who we marry. They stay with us because they are true experiences. So what has to happen? We have to create a culture of superior customer service. We have to create a culture, I heard the word here today, of superior customer service. And what does that equal? Growth. It equals growth. Because people don't really get excited about eating. People really get excited about the dining experience. Now, again, when people come to your store, are they coming there out of convenience? Well, there's Wendy's, let me go in here. Or is it, wait, there's Wendy's, let me go in there because I know I want to get something great as an experience when they come in. You must create such a strong belief system within your customers that they will want to go out and tell other people about it. That's very basic. That's very basic. We know that. The experience should be so great that they want to go out and tell other people about it. Scott Deming, he talks about cult branding. Don't get scared when you hear the word cult. But he talks about cult branding, and he talks about evangelists. There was an old couple, they went to a restaurant, and they had a great experience there. Oh, it was awesome. It was fantastic. They were out walking a few days later, and they bumped into another couple. They said, hey, we went out to this restaurant the other day. It was awesome. Oh, my goodness, the food was good in there. He said, but, man, the experience was fantastic. And the other couple says, really? They said, what was the name of the restaurant? And he says, he turns and looks at his wife, and then he looks back at them, and he said, it's a flower, it has thorns on it, and it smells good. And they said, Rose, yeah, Rose. What was the name of the restaurant we went to? He didn't say what was the food that we ate, but he wanted to tell about the experience that was there, that they encountered. And so what happens is that cult branding where people will follow your brand more than they follow your food. Now, I know we hear the term of product, product loyalty, but it's really not product loyalty. And I learned this. When I was working at Wendy's, and that was one thing that I really did not like about Wendy's is that you're always changing the menu. You're always adding something else. I had to learn how to fix another sandwich. That was, and I heard today we're still adding more stuff. Then the portobello mushroom sandwich coming back out again. So that's good. I remember that one from the last time. But the thing about it is people. When something else comes in, like today, I had the opportunity to go by the store, one of the stores, Mr. Brown. Yes, sir. Went by Mr. Brown before I came in, and I had a good experience. I really did. Got a chance to talk to one of his customer service reps that met me when I walked in the door. She was kind of upset about something. I could tell that probably someone else may not have been able to recognize that, but I recognized it. But she was still very cordial. She looked me in my eye. And I remember her. If I see her in the store somewhere, if I see her on the street, I'm going to remember I know her from somewhere. And that's what you want to experience. When you have cult branding, people follow your brand. It's not the food. That's true. It's not to say that these people are ignorant or they are uneducated, but they truly appreciate the experience that they had when they came to Wendy's. But then, also I tell you that Scott talks about evangelists. Well, cult, evangelists, okay, what's going on here? Well, the thing about it is with an evangelist, you're getting someone that is so excited about your product that they want to go out and tell everybody about the great experience at Wendy's. You don't want to eat at anywhere else because Wendy's is the greatest place that you will ever experience. And that's what you want to do. You want to get people that's excited about it. They want to go and they want to tell about what it was that they experienced. Who are the evangelists? Who are the people? Is it the people that you're working with? Is it the people that's at your front counter? Is it the person that's at the window? But the greatest evangelists are those that come as a result of experiencing what took place at your store. When they go out and they tell everybody about what took place at your Wendy's store. I heard the young man say just a moment ago, we have 8 Wendy's all lined up there together. And I was listening, I said, man, a lot of this stuff is in my speech, and I think y'all have stole my speech. But it's always going to be that somebody that's going to stand out above the rest. So my question to you is this. What's different about your Wendy's store? What's different about your Wendy's store? Okay, we're all Wendy's, we have a brand, we're following the brand. But what's different about what will make someone bypass your Wendy's store and go to another Wendy's store and they just pass Wendy's? Why did they pass your store? Do you need a little red-haired girl out there, with the signs, everybody got this thing going on now? Do you need to put a fan out there and blow the aroma across the street cooling me? What's different about you? That's the question. What's different about you? The next thing I want to ask, I'll talk to you about is self-actualization. Self-actualization. What is self-actualization? Self-actualization says, each day, I want to be better than I was yesterday. We don't always think about it. We don't always say that. But really you do, because no one really gets up and says, you know, I think I want to be just average like I was yesterday. I don't want to get any better. No one says that. It may not be in the front of your mind, but it's in the back of your mind. I want to get better. I want my day to be better, because I tell you what, we get up in the morning, get ready to open the store, and then we're launching out for the day. But we're excited because, man, I hope this day goes fast. So what is it you're looking for? You're looking for a great experience to occur so that this day will go forward, so it won't be a boring day. You know, I don't really want a lot of activity, but I want it to be so exciting that it'll go by and I really will have something to talk about. And if this day is good, you know what? It makes tomorrow a little better. Because you want to at least experience what you had yesterday and add just a little bit more to it. I really appreciated that. I really appreciated that when you were talking about going from 75 to 85, reaching out just a little bit more, a cut above. I always love that. I always love that statement. My sister used to work at a beauty salon years ago, and it was called a cut above. When you talk about a cut above, not being just like everybody else, not just being close, because people want a better experience in everything that they do, everything that they encounter, everything that they're a part of. They want a better experience. So in you, what is it that you're saying that I want to be better in today? What is it that you're saying that I want my employees to be better today? What are you saying that I want my store to be better today? What's one more thing? What's one more thing? You know one thing that you could do? Encourage. And I'm sure most of you do. But encourage. So when you get out of your car, if you see a piece of paper, just pick it up. You don't have to pick up the whole lot, but just pick up that one piece of paper. As you're coming in, throw it in the trash. Because this is your store. It's not my store. Yes, it is. This is your store. Because when people, your family, your friends pass by, they say, that's the store that Jim works at. That's the store that Susie works at. And why? They're saying it because it's yours. Because they can associate that with you. And when they walk by or they pass by and they see trash on the ground, saying, that's the store that they work at. Man, y'all need to do something about your store. But if you encourage them to just do a little bit better, or before you get ready to come to work, make sure certainly that your uniform is pressed and everything's looking good. But have a good attitude. Do not tell your family, I sure don't want to go to work today. Oh, okay, wait a minute, let me back up. Say yourself. Because these are the things that really make a difference. Now, as y'all probably recognize, I'm kind of like this bubbly kind of guy. And when I go into a place, you know, I'm upbeat. But one thing about one part of customer service, when a person responds like this, that really chaps my hide. And that is whether it's on the telephone or whether I walk into a restaurant and the person answers the phone, or either they say, may I take your order, please? And I say, hi, how are you today? Can I help you? Now my wife says, you just need to understand. Everybody's not as bubbly as you are. Well, everybody's not as bubbly, so am I to just kind of, okay, I guess go ahead and let me get to number one and everything. So I guess that make my attitude bad. No, I shouldn't have to do that. But because we're in customer service, because you're the one that's going to attract my bottom line to make it become even greater and higher. And the more that we achieve, the more you achieve. And I think a lot of times that a lot of our employees don't really realize that when the store does better, they get better. And I think we, a lot of times as managers, have not done a good job of relaying that really to them, because what they are looking at every day is how much they make an hour. They're looking at what their paycheck is at the end of each week. Well, if you said like on the long term, This is what we're looking at doing. This is what we want to do for you. We want to make things great. So the greater you make the store, the better and the greater you will become. So what are you giving your customers that nobody else is giving them that's in your industry? That's the question. So what are you giving your customers that nobody else in the industry is giving them? Now I do see this, and I hope I don't get burned for this, and that is, there was a store that came on the scene less than 10 years ago, really, maybe about 10, 12 years ago, and it has set the standard for most of our stores, for most of our restaurant businesses. Do y'all know who that is? Starbucks. Starbucks, they have the urban environment. They have the Wi-Fi. They just come in, just kind of chill out. And then everyone else kind of started doing those things. Now, Chick-fil-A, they said, hey guys, we're going to do this thing with such great quality that nobody can touch us. And so we're following into the industry of that. Now, you saw what Starbucks did. You heard what Chick-fil-A has done. Let us start saying about Wendy's. Let us be like, because Jeff made a mention of that. We want to be the cut above. We want to be the ones that make people say Wendy's, 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 not Starbucks, not Chick-fil-A. How can we be creative to that point to say, what's the next brand? What is, not the next brand, how are we going to create a culture that's going to make the difference, to make everybody else talk about us? The last thing, how many excellent stores do we have in here? How many excellent stores do we have? We got 1.5. We got this one. Be careful, I'm about to set you up. I mean, outstanding stores. I mean, outstanding stores. Well, let me tell you something. An excellent store has become the new mediocre store. Excellent store. Because everyone wants what's, excellent. But then you have the outstanding store. And I want to tell you something, that being outstanding will cause you to starve to death. It has the capabilities. So this guy, he's kind of weird. What are you talking about? I see it on your face. Excellent is mediocre. Outstanding, you can starve to death. But let me tell you what you want to be. It's the preeminent store. Give you an example. And excellent, you ever heard of a long list? You have a long list of people that's on the list. You can put, this is what we're going to do. These are the people that we want. And then what do? That's an excellent group of folk or companies or whatever it may be. Then they say, let's take out of them 3 or 4 that's outstanding. They take out the 3 or 4 that's outstanding. Then they look at them and they say, now let's narrow it down to 1 that's going to be the preeminent one. That's what happened. You talk about the 8 stores, but there's 1 that's preeminent that's going to stand out above all the rest. It's going to stand out above all the rest. Are you that preeminent one? Are you the one that when it's narrowed down, that they will pass by every other Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Taco Bell, or what's it, Popeyes, the ones that my daughter loves, Taco Bell, my wife loves Popeyes, but I love Wendy's. I really do. It's not a joke. But I want to say that about your store. Think about that. Tell your crew, we don't just want to be excellent. We don't want to be outstanding. We really want to be that #1 store. We want to be that #1 brand that everyone else talks about and where there's no comparison. We don't want it just to be an event when people walk into our stores. We want it to be an experience. And an experience that is so great that when they leave from here, they become evangelists for us and talk about how great Wendy's is, regardless of what anyone says, because our belief is that Wendy's is the greatest. And as our customer service representatives, those people that stand at the front counter, those that's at the window, those that's on the grill, when the people look back and they see them, there is that experience. Tell your fry person, when they're doing fries, look over and just wave at the people as they're doing their job. When they flipping that burger, tell them look up. See the customer? Just give them a thumbs up. I'm doing this for you. Just think about how good that makes a person feel, knowing that the people that's working for me at this point really acknowledge that I'm here. Let's go from an event to an experience. Thank you so much.
Take a 10-minute break.
Maybe I'm gardening. See you come to this trade.
Someone dropped the pen.
My friend.
Someone dropped the pen.
That corner of the video was around these people.
Hey, but I'm gonna give you a call. We'll give you a call. What's your name?
Rich.
Rich? All right,
Yeah.
Calvin Martin.
Yeah, my cell phone's on there, my email, usually
What's good really for you, man?
this week is packed. But
Okay.
Next week, most days, my afternoons are usually when I schedule different things. Then the mornings, a lot of times I'm on the phone most mornings to work. Or, if you happen to be, we're up in North Little Rock, just north of, well, how familiar are you?
I know all the North Little Rock, yeah.
Oh, okay, we know where the Golden Corral is off Wendy Road?
Yeah.
We're like 2 blocks behind there.
Okay.
You know where that big church is up on the hill?
Yeah.
As you go up that hill, right before that church, we're on the right-hand side.
Okay. Okay.
But, yeah, if you have to be there, especially if it's like later in the afternoon, you're in the neighborhood, you're doing whatever you're doing. You can holler and we'll take a look. And I'll show you, like I say, power grid, it's fun to work.
Okay.
I have had it, I don't know, I've updated it once. For a while there, I was getting a little bit of glitchiness when I was stacking a whole bunch of things. Because you can run like, man, I think I've got mine set to only limit me to like 2 video and 4 audio tracks. But you can increase that up to like 8 or 10.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, but I mean, usually when I get to the end of my videos and I do the credits, and it's just the fun stuff. I put all the bloopers in there so that the crew, when they're watching them, they know something funny's going to happen in the end, so they watch it.
Okay.
But sometimes when I stack those credits and then the transitions, and there's a lot of splicing, it would stutter a little bit. But I think they've solved that.
Okay.
But I mean, otherwise, I read a lot about the Sony Vega, because that and Power Director seem to be the 2 ways to go, and I'm real happy.
Okay.
And that's not to say Vega might not be.
But if you know how to use it, though, I mean, I'd be happy to learn from you.